As we have done in the past, I have asked 2 students and 1 faculty member to speak during this morning's event. It is my pleasure to introduce our first student speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Juliana Egidio to the podium.
Faculty of Daniel Hand High School. I'm very pleased to give this year's honors breakfast speech. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Juliana Egidio, and I'm a senior. And this is usually the time when a senior sheds light on the things that they've learned in high school. Think of me as your unqualified, confidence-lacking Yoda, teaching you, my younglings, the ways of the Force. That is before you are slaughtered by Anakin Skywalker or Daniel Hand High School. I will try to be your Yoda and give you my approach to getting the most out of high school and looking towards your futures. So my first piece of advice, do not overthink things. I know it feels like even the smallest of problems in high school matter, but it may seem in the moment that your freshman year bio test on cell division is going to make and break your entire future. But looking back, I realized there's no need for late night caffeinated drinks and stress. Always put a great amount of effort into your work, but not to the point of insanity and inner turmoil. When I look back on my freshman year self, I laugh at how nervous and stressed I was. So spend less time worrying about tiny details and remember that high school is our time to learn more about ourselves and find what we are passionate about. It took me a while to find what I love, which brings me to my second point. Branch out. It took me a while to realize how much I loved theater and singing, mostly because I was too afraid to explore other aspects of the school I wasn't familiar with. I was a basketball, cross-country, track bro my freshman and sophomore year of high school. And as I approached graduation, I realized that I end high school with completely different interests that shape who I am. I made some valuable friends that I know I will still have in the long haul, supporting me and keeping me grounded. And I urge you to be fearless and explore every part of high school that may interest you. I am here today trying to pursue musical theater in college because of my decision to branch out. Which brings me to my final piece of advice, directed more towards my upperclassmen. As we look towards college and our future, we need to appreciate where we are now. As Yoda explains to Anakin in Revenge of the Sith, the future is a distant thing, and it's constantly adapting and changing. And for this reason, the future is difficult to see. Everything is as the Force wills it. We will all end up somewhere and find our paths eventually. As long as we were happy with where we are now, the future will seem less frightening and full of questions. As for me, I can say that college terrifies me. I am afraid of failing and making a fool of myself. But what gives me a peace of mind is seeing the people that I've surrounded myself with during my time in high school. If I fail, I will always have them to fall back on. So remember this in the rest of your time in high school. You will only find what you bring in. You alone dictate your experience here. You decide what interests to explore, what people to reach out to, what to worry about, what passions to discover. The only thing that limits your success in high school is your fear to branch out. So students, keep working hard, but also take the time to venture out into different avenues. Don't keep looking away at the future. Keep your eyes on where you are today. You still have a long way to go. As my friend Yoda has said, much to still learn you have. This is just the beginning. Declan Maloney insisted that I do an impersonation, but I have some self-respect. So. Take this advice any way you want. I mean, what do I know? I'm just as lost and confused as the rest of you. But at least we are all lost together. High school isn't supposed to make much sense until we are able to look back at the experience and reflect. So when I look back in coming years, I hope that I'm satisfied with the things I pursued, the time I put into work, and the people I met. For now, let's all just keep pushing forward through high school. May the Force be with you all.
Thank you, Juliana. And now it's my pleasure to welcome Nick Leone to the podium.
Good morning, everyone. I think we all know why we're really here today. To avoid class, have some cold donuts, and drink frozen orange juice. So I'll try to make this quick. But I do have a few things I'd like to share with you all today. As most seniors come to know, a trip to Mr. Bottom's office typically involves scheduling your next Saturday detention. Despite the fact that I do have a detention tomorrow, my most recent call down to the office entailed a meeting not only with Mr. Bonner, but also with Mr. Salvatore. They gave me the opportunity to speak at the upcoming honors breakfast, and of course, this is something you cannot turn down. So here I am. When writing this speech, I thought of every possible thing I could mention in order to get the most out of this opportunity. But I was able to narrow it down to the most important things that have shaped my mindset throughout my high school experience. I've experienced a lot of things that I believe most of you would benefit from, whether you are a freshman or a senior, so here it goes. Given that Daniel Hand is one of the top public schools in the state, as I'm sure most of you have learned, the atmosphere here is quite competitive. And as a freshman, this was pretty overwhelming. Fortunately enough, I was able to learn early on that hard work is critical to one's success. What hard work really is not giving in too early and having the mental discipline to keep working, despite seeing monumental change. I will never forget a story about two fighters that Mr. Philippone shared with me regarding this idea. Two evenly matched men endured a hard-fought battle, but at a certain point, one of the boxers had been beaten so badly that his coach decided that it was time to throw in the towel and give up. Because this fight took place in the early 1900s, the wall separating the two locker rooms was very thin, allowing noise to be heard between the two rooms. From his locker room, the losing fighter could hear his opponent, who had just won, confessing to his coach that with just one more punch landed on him, he would have went down and lost the fight. Like this story demonstrates, you may only be 1 inch away from succeeding, but you just need to maintain the mental toughness to keep pushing forward until that one punch makes a difference. Inevitably, with hard work comes significant struggle, and it is finding what motivates you to push past this adversity that leads you to success. It was Mr. Mascherini's battle with cancer that allowed me to understand that perseverance is attainable in all circumstances. He once told me, my brother, throughout the entire time I was going through chemotherapy, never visited me in hospital because he always knew I'd be all right. This statement hit me hard because, from a scientific standpoint, he was either going to live or die. However, he defied the odds that weren't in his favor and found purpose in his battle. The desire to get married, the desire to someday have kids, and the desire to be a coach. These were the purposes that inspired him to keep fighting through one of the hardest things a person can think to face. There's no perseverance without purpose. In other words, without finding what truly drives you to move forward, success is nothing but a far-fetched reality. Although high school is very important and challenging, I do realize that it is not a boxing match or a battle with cancer, where perseverance and hard work is very much necessary. I'm not sharing these things in an effort to help you do well in school or to overcome a bad grade, because quite honestly, at the end of the day, a bad grade will not ruin your life. But someday down the road, whether it be in college or when we're all parents, something will stand in your way, and it's going to be real hard. When that time comes, I hope you can have the mental toughness to keep pushing forward until that one punch makes a difference and to persevere with purpose. Thank you.
Thank you, Nick. And now it's my pleasure to introduce the faculty speaker for today's event, one of our English teachers and coaches, Mrs. Smith.
Good morning. I know you guys want your donuts, so I'll try to be brief. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Mrs. Smith. I'm a member of the English department, the gymnastics coach, and a hand grad myself. I'm not going to tell you what year. And this is my first ever honors breakfast, believe it or not. Despite some of the great teachers I had, some of whom are standing in this room, I was a really unmotivated high school student. I did just enough to get by, be eligible for sports, and to get into college so I could get out of here. I would never have thought that 15 years later, I'd be a teacher in the very place I had tried so hard to get out of, and a teacher speaking to the entire student body at that. You see, when I was a high school student, I was afraid to take risks, afraid to fail. I would willingly fall 1,000 times 4 feet up on a 4-inch wide balance beam, but I would not raise my hand and participate in class. It was easier, so I thought, to just slide on through, doing just enough, never speaking up and saying something that might be the wrong answer. But something I've learned since leaving Daniel Hand, and something I wish I had learned sooner, is that it's okay to fail. You have to take risks. You have to put trust in your path and know that if you fail, it's only another door being opened for you. You have to learn from your failures, accept them, and move forward. When I graduated college, after finally finding my academic self and becoming a 4.0 student athlete, I was unemployed and living on my own for the first time. My passion for reading, writing, and storytelling had taken me down the path of becoming a journalism major and my college newspaper editor. I was ready to take on the world. Except the world was no longer reading newspapers. So I applied and I applied and I applied. I wrote, I freelanced, and I was paid pennies just to scrape by. I guess you can say that I failed at my first career. I finally just applied to any job that I could find, even jobs I was overqualified for, so that I could start to pay my bills. And then an opportunity fell in my lap. The chance to be the varsity gymnastics coach here at Hand at just 22 years old. It would be a risk. I was barely older than the girls, had never run a high school program before, and the team was coming off one of its best years. And I wanted to be a journalist. But I took that risk, and then I failed at that too. After 12 years of Hand winning the SCC championship in gymnastics, we lost my first year in coaching. And then we lost again my second year. But I kept trying, I kept learning, and now we boast the last 8 SCC titles and the last 4 state championships. So don't accept failure as the end result. Reflect, reassess, take another risk, and try again. That first big risk of coming aboard at Hand drastically changed the trajectory of my life. I stopped looking for a job in journalism, and instead I took a new risk. I quit my job in a recession, emptied my savings account, and entered a teacher certification program with no guarantee of a job. I had no backup plan, and if I didn't get a job, I wouldn't be able to pay my rent. But the risk paid off. I did get a job in the city of Middletown. And you know what happened on my first day of teaching? A student threw a folder at me. I had desks flipped at me, kids yelled at me, and I had 4 principals in my first 4 years of teaching. I had to take risks and fail every single day, trying to reach the most challenging kids. And I loved it. And that began my career as a lifelong learner and educator. As the years went by and I got deeper into my career here at Madison, I thought about what it would be like to be all in. So when a job opened up, I applied. I left a job with tenure to start over in Madison with no job security. And sure enough, after just 1 year, I was faced with another difficult and risky decision. I would have to leave middle school teaching, which I knew and loved, and head up to the big, bad, scary high school, just so I could have more job safety. But risk-taking had become easier by then. Failing, even in a big way, didn't seem that big of a deal anymore. So I did it. Not without anxiety and hard work in my cross-certification, but I'm here. I'm back to the very place that I so desperately wanted to leave, and I couldn't be happier. So, congratulations to those that made honors and high honors in trimester 1. It's clear that you are hardworking, high-achieving, and motivated young men and women. You're willing to take academic risks, and you have seen the rewards in doing so. You amaze us each and every day with your thoughts and creativity, and we learn as much from you as we hope you do from us. For those of you who didn't make the honor roll, your life and your education does not end here. Perhaps you took a chance, tried a level 1 class, and struggled. Maybe you had a tough time outside of school and it impacted your grades. Or maybe you just haven't found a class that interests you and you haven't put forth much effort. Maybe you prefer to take the easy route like I did. It's okay. It's not too late for you to start taking risks, to start working harder, and to start spending more time on your education. I was a late bloomer, and I think I turned out okay. It's not enough to go passionately and confidently in the directions of your dreams, as Thoreau would say. You have to be willing to fail, to try again, and to realize that you will always be growing and learning. I have learned to not only take risks, but to embrace my failures, to learn from them, to ask questions, to listen, and to try again. It was only with those failures that I've become who I am. So, I'm almost done. If I can impart any words of wisdom on you today, it is to become a lifelong learner in whatever makes you feel passionate. For me, it's teaching and coaching, and I continue to learn from my colleagues, my students, my experience, and my failures each and every day. They say, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. That is certainly true for me, and it is my hope for all of you, whether you made honors today or not. So, congratulations to all of you as students here who make this such a special place. Let's keep it going.